Breaking news, MS Now's Stephanie Ruhle just wrapped up a 15-minute phone call with President Trump. Stephanie joining us now by the phone. Stephanie, I know Trump already called NATO cowards this morning. What else did he tell you?
He did. You know, ironically, I wanted to get on the phone with you earlier, but I'm at the airport and it took me quite a long time to get through TSA. The president and I had about a 15-minute phone call. We started, of course, talking about Iran. He said that Iran was 2 weeks away from having a nuclear bomb and they would use it. Now, of course, most experts say it was at least a year away. He said that we could leave the war right now. We could walk away tomorrow, because we have just decimated most of the country and their power. But he said the regime would rebuild. It would take him about 10 years, but that's not an acceptable situation, which is why he thinks we should stay. He said the major thing is they cannot have a nuclear weapon. We obliterated it. We totally obliterated it. So that's very good that we're there. We talked all about our European NATO allies, and he continued to crush them. He said absolutely none of our allies in NATO have helped with support as it relates to the war. He said we don't need their help, but they've proven themselves to be a paper tiger. He also posted that on Truth Social, i.e., without the United States, NATO is nothing. And he said before he came to office, the United States, and you've heard this from him before, paid 100%. Now NATO allies are paying more, but they've done nothing. I asked about Ukraine helping and Ukraine supporting, and he said they've done nothing. Anything Zelensky has said as far as what Ukraine has done to help us, he's just doing for political and PR purposes. They've done nothing. He says Zelensky is very difficult to deal with. He says Zelensky is more difficult to deal with than Putin is. And he said Putin has also shown that he's not afraid of Europe at this point or our European allies. He says I would clearly say that he expressed more trust in Putin than he does any of our European allies. We talked about the Texas primary. He said originally they wanted to run against Jasmine Crockett, but Tallarico can be easily defeated, whether it's Ken Paxton or John Cornyn. He referred to Tallarico as a whack job. I asked him about our next steps as it relates to Cuba. He was sort of vague, but he said, just you watched, and he promised sort of changes, but he did not give any details. I asked him about what the White House is spending on. I asked if the ballroom was much bigger than they planned. Did it need to be that big? And he said, of course, it's under budget and ahead of schedule. But he said they plan to have future inaugurations in that ballroom since it's going to be drone-proof and bulletproof. I asked him about those comments he made about Gavin Newsom and dyslexia. I gave him the opportunity to sort of take those comments back, saying someone with dyslexia, with those learning disabilities, shouldn't be in the White House. He didn't take the comments back. He continued to go after Gavin Newsom and then, you know, talk quite a bit more about how unfairly he's being treated by the media.
And I know, Steph, you've talked about how hurtful those comments have been. Did you tell him that you're stymied at the airport and ask him about the DHS shutdown?
Of course, I did. And he, you know, blamed Democrats. He said they're the ones standing in the way of funding this. Blame that if you don't like your long line at the airport, look no further than Democrats. And that's not a surprise that he would say that.
Quite a wide-ranging conversation that you had there on the phone, and I'm glad we got you on FaceTime and it wasn't just your voice. We get to see your face, too. Steph Ruhle, hope you get through the airport lines quickly. Host of 11th Hour. We appreciate you so much.